I like talking a lot. I don't, like, if you were to ask me a question, any question, I might have a long explanation. So, ugh. And so I was telling Robert how I became a fan of the show, and he replied saying it must have been hard to start without all the background. And then I replied back to that. And so, as you see, I comment Robert probably a little bit too much, but you know, I can't keep comments short. So hopefully when I become a celebrity, all the fans are going to get long answers. But I do have a live story on Once Upon a Time, and my story on Once Upon a Time is, well, ever since I was born, I've been liking, well, first I did like trains, but then I started going into Disney movies. My first favorite Disney movie was Beauty and the Beast, and that went on for like a year or two. Some of the Disney movies that I loved as a young kid, whatever my favorite Disney movie was, I would either consider it my favorite Disney for about a year or a month at least. So I've been going on these Disney movies. I changed from Beauty and the Beast to liking Mulan, and I went to Peter Pan. Then I went back to Beauty and the Beast as my favorite movie. And then 2013 comes around, and my new favorite Disney movie is Peter Pan. And so the thing about Disney movies is that I watch them over and over again. And so my mom got a call from my aunt Amanda, and my aunt Amanda got a call from her cousin, and her cousin says that he mentioned about the show Once Upon a Time and told my aunt Amanda, who also told my mom, because at the time my aunt Amanda knew I loved Peter Pan, so she wanted to tell my mom about it and see how interested I would be. And so told me about it, and we all watched Once Upon a Time together as a family. And the first reason I watched Once Upon a Time was because Peter Pan's the villain, Hook's the hero. In any version of Peter Pan, you would never see anything like that. Now, there is this one movie called Pan, where Hook and Peter Pan have a relationship, but I'm sure there's going to be a sequel where Hook turns out to be the villain. But, like, I would never see the opposite way, where Pan's the villain and Hook's the hero. And when I first heard about this, I thought it was actually a movie, and I wanted to see it. And so I watched the first 2 episodes of season 3, and I was like, oh shoot, what happens next? And my mom's like, you have to wait until next week to watch the next episode. And I was like, what? This is a series? All right, I'm going to watch it until Peter Pan's not on the show anymore. And so I watch it just to see Peter Pan, not to see any other characters or storylines, just to see the Peter Pan ones. It looked like it's from Disney. But, like, it's the first, like, fairy tale show that I ever saw. Like, before this, all I saw was Disney movies. Those are the only fairy tales I heard of, is Disney movies. And then Once Upon a Time comes along, and it has all the Disney movies combined into one movie, instead of it's one TV show. And so I'm like, ooh, Snow White and Charming, ooh, Ariel's teaming up with Belle, and I'm like, okay, that's it, I'm going to continue watching the show. Now, I did tell this to other Robert, but there was a time when Once Upon a Time was advertised on Disney Channel. I was watching Disney Channel, and they advertised it and said that Frozen was coming to Once Upon a Time. Once Upon a Time and Peter Pan being the villain and Hook being the hero. If I didn't at least get to hear about it, I would have at least watched the show a year later to see how Frozen was on TV, you know, and then continue watching Once Upon a Time, you know. So either way, I probably would have watched the show, even if my aunt never told my mom about it. I probably would have still watched it a year later, but it's not the same, because I didn't see the first 2 seasons until after season 3. Then I had to watch the first 2 on Netflix, because I was interested in it. And so, anyway, if I didn't watch Once Upon a Time at the time, and if I waited until season 4, I would have had 3 seasons to watch on Netflix. That would have been a lot. So I am grateful that I got to know Once Upon a Time and watch season 3, so I would only need to see 2 seasons on Netflix. 2 seasons is better than 3, so then you don't have to worry about catching up that much. And so, yeah, imagine if I didn't know Once Upon a Time until season 7 and I had to watch 6 seasons. So, yeah, Once Upon a Time is so grateful. Hey, my aunt never told my mom about the show. I may have never knew Once Upon a Time, even now. I probably would have never knew about Once Upon a Time. And so I would never get to go to the panel, meet Jennifer Morrison. And so it's so lucky. And then I still do have a favorite movie, but it's not a Disney movie. Because after I started watching Once Upon a Time, I did try doing some other shows that were out of Disney. And my new favorite movie is from the 80s, and it's Back to the Future. Because not only I'm a fan of fairy tales now, I like time travel. Now, this is how I became a fan of Back to the Future. It was the Emma and Hook time travel episode. I was watching Once Upon a Time, and they mentioned about Back to the Future. And Hook had no idea what Back to the Future was. And they mentioned it, and I was like, what's Back to the Future? So I checked it out, and I was like, okay, this is my favorite movie. So if it weren't for my aunt, and it weren't for Once Upon a Time, I wouldn't even be watching Back to the Future. And yeah, that's my story. So guys, put your thoughts in the comments below if you like my story on Once Upon a Time. I'd like to hear yours. I just got a few more subscribers, so my channel is growing a little bit, but not as much. It's still really poor, but it's growth. So thank you. And later today, I'll tell you about my experience at Comic-Con. This was the meeting Jennifer Morrison was actually my second Comic-Con, but I'll talk about it in the next video. Because when I make YouTube videos, for those who are new to my channel, I hate odd numbers. So if I tend to post a video and make it, I make another video. So if I post one video, I post two, always. I hate odd numbers. All right. So just subscribe, put your thoughts in the comments.